to retiring today. I'm here with Loren Merkle. He's a certified financial planner, and I'm here with Chawn Honkomp. Hold on for a second. I got to look down. He's a CPA. He's also a retirement income certified professional and a CFF. What's the CFF mean?
Certified Financial Fiduciary.
And what that basically means when they have these letters behind their name is that these guys are continually studying and learning and following legislation and working on all the things they need to do to help people plan for their retirement. So today we're talking about a magical number. 3 million, 1 million, 5 million, what do you need to retire? Loren, when people come and sit down with you, or maybe when you're even out about in the community, I bet people a lot of times go, how much do I need to save up, Loren? How much do I need to save up? How do you answer those questions?
Well, there's so many questions around how much do I actually need to retire, because you see information everywhere. You need $1 million, you need $2 million, you need $3 million. All these articles have been written about how much you actually need. And how much you're going to actually need is going to vastly depend upon what your retirement vision is. What your retirement vision is what are all the activities that you want to do in retirement? Do you want to travel a lot? Do you want to buy a motorhome? Do you want to buy a vacation home? What is your retirement vision? What do you want to do on a day-to-day basis, on an annual basis? And that is going to depend upon how much you're going to spend, which is going to directly influence how much you need for your retirement.
The headlines are always changing. Just a quick look at what do I need to retire, and you'll find headlines like the new rule of thumb is $3 million. Retirement dreams, 3 million is the new 1 million. Most Americans think 1 million will be enough for a comfortable retirement, or do you need $1 million to retire? Chawn, there's no magic number.
Right, the customization is, we can't stress that enough. We know we have a defined process, so we know what families need to be thinking about when it comes to retiring and planning for their retirement and creating that customized plan. But when we get into each situation, we can't stress the customization enough. There are so many variables that are applicable only to your situation. How much do you want to spend each month? We talk about what level of lifestyle, what quality of life do you want? We have to factor all that in as we get to know our families and really dive into creating their specific customized plan.
If everybody's retirement was going to look like the gingerbread man, then we could use that cookie cutter to make their retirement plan. But the customization is absolutely necessary because nobody's retirement is the same. Everybody wants to do something a little bit differently. They want to, they have a different family environment, grandkids, not grandkids, and that's why the customization is necessary, because the spending requirements are going to be based heavily on their activities.
And they also have their hard-earned money in various different kinds of investments, and that's a big piece of how you get them to and through retirement. It's also part of the 5 guiding principles that we use, Loren. We call them the Merkle retirement method, and today we're going to focus on 3 of those.
Today we're going to focus on the income planning component, we're going to focus on the tax planning component, and then we're also going to focus on the investment piece. So the income, the taxes, and the investment guiding principles of the 5.
Okay guys, first let's talk about how people kind of got to this $1 million method. I think you're going to both chime in here, but it had something to do with another rule of thumb, which was the 4% rule.
Yeah, if you look at the 4% rule, that $1 million, I think it's just a nice round number. It makes people feel great, maybe makes people feel successful. And if you apply that 4% rule, it tells you that we can take $40,000 out every year just from your retirement savings and use that money to, again, live the quality of life that you want and cover all your expenses. Then you factor in Social Security, maybe you have a private pension. You would look at that and feel like, hey, that's going to be enough. But as we've talked about frequently, we know the old rules of thumb certainly can't be applied in every situation.
They certainly can. I mean, if you think about the average Social Security payment is somewhere around $1,600 a month. So let's just call it $18,000 for the year. You have $1 million and you're using that general rule of thumb of 4%. That's $40,000 plus the 18. Now we're working with $58,000 of retirement income, but that is pre-tax income. The vast majority of people's retirement savings is in pre-tax accounts, which means you're taking that money out and you're going to pay taxes on that $40,000, which means now your spendable income is less. And only roughly about 14% of the population today has a corporate pension available to them. So many people don't have that pension. So we're really looking at maybe a $58,000 gross income with a spendable income probably approaching below the $50,000 mark. And a lot of retirees, they didn't work all of these years to have all this freedom now of time to, and $50,000 a year is not going to cut to accomplish most retirees' retirement vision.
Yeah, it could be 50,000 could be a drastic cut in the lifestyle you're leading. You're in your higher wage earning years right before you retire. Your kids typically are out of the house, so you're kind of maybe living a good lifestyle. You don't want to cut that way back in retirement. So that's where, Chawn, I think the number, the magic number started increasing, because obviously then if you increase that number to 2 million, assuming that 4% withdrawal, we get to 80,000, 3 million, we get to 120,000. But really, what's a little bit more realistic for people to be thinking about spending in retirement?
Well, they've got to look, I mean, the big thing is having visibility to your cash flow, right? If you don't know what you're spending today, it makes it challenging to plan for retirement and create that retirement plan. So understanding your cash flow, knowing what expenses are today, and then maybe knowing, hey, what's going to go away, what's new. But looking at all that, trying to understand all that, those are the complexities that we talk about. Right? We know what we need to be thinking about. This is something we're doing every day, and part of our job is to bring that up to the families and get them thinking about what they're not thinking about prior to starting to plan for their retirement.
Well, Loren, I've heard you say it sometimes when people are getting near retirement, they haven't maybe had a real strict budget the last few years leading up to retirement because they haven't had to.
Well, you said it a few minutes ago. I mean, most people who retire are in their peak wage earning years, which means a lot of them don't have debt anymore, or maybe their debt is really refined down to their mortgage, and they're making more money than they ever had. The kids are out of the house, so they have all of this discretionary income. And many, many retirees or pre-retirees tell us they haven't had a budget for a decade, maybe 15 years. And so now you're telling me I have to go into retirement and I need a budget again? It's just counterintuitive to the way they've lived their life for the last 10 to 15 years. And so when it comes to the planning, it's not necessarily that you have to live on a monthly budget again like you did in your 20s and 30s, but we do need to have some kind of semblance of what it's going to take on a monthly or yearly basis to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. And so in the planning, we can identify, because a lot of times you won't have that budget in mind, but we can identify how much can you afford to spend. How much can you afford to spend year 1 in retirement and still have money for year 11 in retirement? And we can work backwards even if they don't have a budget in mind. Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today. If you have questions about your retirement, schedule a complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.